And it's good morning to Ricky Valance. Valance. I can never pronounce it right.
A lot of people, you're not on your own. You're not on your own.
I know.
Valance people, yeah.
Yes.
It's Valance.
Valance, yes.
Oh, you still said Valance.
I did. It's the way I pronounce it.
Am I making you nervous here?
No, they know me. I've got a dreadful South Wales accent, a Valleys accent, and I never pronounce anything right.
Let me tell you something, right? My accent might be a little weaker than yours because I've been away from home longer,
Yeah.
but I'm a very proud Valley man.
I'm glad to hear it. Of course, you were born in Annecy,
I was indeed.
near Wattsville. Yeah,
Right.
in Mid Glamorgan.
No, it wasn't Mid Glamorgan.
Is it Mid Glamorgan?
No.
No, Monmouthshire then.
Monmouthshire.
Yeah. I lived over that
You're
way.
doing very well to this morning.
I always do very well when I'm on air. I lived over that way for quite a number of years. I got married to somebody in Kevin Hengood. I don't know if
Kevin
you know
Hengood.
that.
Yeah, I do.
So and I know Annecy very, very well. Well, Ricky Valance.
Balance.
Valance.
You still can't say it.
No.
You still can't say it.
Valance.
That's right.
Is that right? Yeah. I'm just going to call you Ricky from now on.
That's it. Please do.
Okay, of course, Ricky is Tell Laura I Love Her fame. It was a number one hit for Ricky in 1960.
Mm-hmm.
In the September of 1960. Yeah. And you were the first Welshman to get to number one.
That's what they tell me.
Yeah, and Shirley Bassey was the first Welsh
She was
woman
indeed, yeah.
to get to number one. You would join the Air Force, I believe,
I was in the Air Force for 3 years, yes.
for 3 years, and then you came out. And how did you start to pursue a singing career then?
Well, singing was something I'd done since I was virtually a baby. My mother, who was born in Seven Sisters in Neath, she's a wonderful singer. But she wasn't allowed to go into show business. She was brought up by her aunt and uncle because she lost both her parents at an early age. And I guess being the firstborn, all her aspirations and ambitions were born out in me.
So you sang. Who did your mother sing, or did your auntie sing?
She sang, but not in show business as
Right,
such.
yeah.
You know, she did a lot of the social clubs and what have you in those days, and sang in chapel as well. I always wanted to become a professional singer.
Okay.
Singing was, to me, like breathing.
Yeah.
It was my own special thing that I wanted to do. I didn't want to be an engine driver or a jet pilot or anything like that. I wanted to be a professional singer. And I wanted the ambition that I had was extremely strong. I mean, I've always been very hard on myself when it comes to doing the right thing. And I, in actual fact, took some training to train the voice properly. And then I went into the Air Force for 3 years, 17 and a half. And of course, prior to that, I'd been to a bad boy school for about 18 months.
Oh, yes.
And wrong company, silly things to do.
You do, don't you?
But that happens in your childhood,
It
and it was
does,
an eye-opener
yes.
for me. And then I decided, well, I'm still too young and I have no contacts in show business. Let's go into the Air Force and do 3 years. So I went into the Air Force and came out. And it was then we made the decision, my wife and I, to move from South Wales up to London. And basically we've been away now for, I say, nearly, 53 years now.
I believe you met your wife in Newbridge, so she's a local girl as well then.
She is, yes. Yeah, she is. For us anyway, it's a question of knowing how your likes and dislikes and the culture that you were brought up in.
Yes.
And that's made both of us very conscious about that, and we've become even closer. I mean, in January now, we have been married 57 years.
Oh, well done. Well done. In this day and age, it is very well done. We in Wales, as you know, we've got a very close camaraderie with other people. Do you take that with you wherever you go?
As you see me today now,
Yes.
is the way that I've always been. But when I came into show business, it was very strange for me because I wasn't allowed to really speak my mind as I felt I wanted to. So it was a frustrating time for me. It was like being a good little boy and doing as you're told, and that was against my nature. So consequently, I raised a few eyebrows and arched a few backs by being very blunt.
Well, you have to, I think, to get your own personality out into the music.
Yeah, but in the 60s you didn't do that.
I know, yeah.
It was a different kettle of fish. Today, of course, is totally different.
It is totally different, yes. And you've done an awful lot of performing. Like you said, you've been performing for 52 years, all around the world.
Yes.
Yes. Where is your favourite performance? You must have many, but which is your favourite, or can you nail it down to one particular one?
Well, I think the highlight of my whole career really was singing on television in America in front of 70 million people.
Good grief. That's an awful lot of people to be counted.
Well, do you imagine they dropped that bombshell when I was talking to the producer about what time he wanted me to come back? And he said, well, first of all, it's not a recorded show, it's a live show, which made me shake. So my next question then was, well, how many people are going to be looking in?
Yes.
And he just looked at me very quizzically and said, well, we got about 70 million people looking in. We go out through Canada, United States. I went, my. He said, are you not feeling well? I said, well, do I look that way? I'd gone white. It was unbelievable. But the great thing was they made me feel very well at home. It was like Wales in some respect. The southern states are very close people. And if they take you to their heart, they really do. And I just felt at home there. And when I actually did the performance, I felt very comfortable.
That was in Tennessee, was that?
That was in, Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah. Which is somewhat the home of country music, really, isn't it?
Without a shadow of doubt.
We have a presenter here, Peter. It's a pity he couldn't stay, and he does a country show on a Sunday, and he's been out to Texas and Nashville loads and loads of times. I think it's his second home. He loves it out there.
Yes, it's great.
Yes. How did you start singing country music then?
Well, in the 70s, I mean, I've always loved country music anyway, but never got the opportunity to do it in the 60s. So basically, what happened was, in the 70s, I had the opportunity to take a band out on the road. And in those days, one of my favorites was not only Johnny Cash, but people like Willie Nelson and people of that ilk, you know. And the music was just awe-inspiring because it comes from the heart. And I just felt, being a country boy, that it was for me. So I took a band out on the road, and we did a year or so on the road doing country music. It was not a lucrative time, because country music has never been anything like as big as it is in America, and never will be. But it was a great experience, and it gave me another string to my bow.
Well, it gave you another sort of genre of singing then. As well as pop songs, you sing country songs. Now, as it happens, I've got a country CD of you with you, and I believe you wrote one song on you, which is Back into the Country.
Back in the Country.
Yes. Can you tell me a little about that, and why did you write it?
Well, I was actually down in the studio, one of the studios in London, and there was a guy there called Daniel Boone, who in actual fact taken his name from the old Daniel Boone, and was actually recorded Daddy Don't You Walk So Fast.
Yeah.
And we hit it off, and we just kind of looked at one another and said, let's write a song together. So within the space of, and I kid you not, in the space of half an hour, we both laid down Back in the Country.
Good grief, that's quick.
I mean, the words are quite unique, and I'd forgotten all about it until a certain party said to me, you know, I love that song. And it had words like, I played around with Liszt, but couldn't get the gist. And it doesn't work in two-part harmony. And between us, he was playing the guitar, and so we set the whole thing between us and put it down. And it was, to me, it was a throwaway song. It was one that, you know, introduced me into the country thing.
Yes.
And we didn't think any more about it. And then people have been saying, like, especially when I come home, oh, I love that song. Are you going to sing it tonight? Well, the answer is no, I'm not.
So you don't put it in your repertoire then?
No, I've never done it on stage.
All right. Well, we're going to play it here now for our listeners to hear it, if you don't mind.
Of course, please do.
Is that okay? So here is Ricky Valance.
You got it.
singing Back Into the Country.
Well, I've sung rock and roll, I've even sung soul, but country's the music for me. I've done the twist, but I can never resist the music that they call country. I'm a hard-living man, and I'll do all I can to keep this music rolling along. So keep your jazz and all that razzmatazz, 'cause country music's where I belong. It's a hard thing to say, I've come a long way to really find the music for me. I played around with lists and got the gist, and it didn't work in two-part harmony. I know I can't be wrong, the feeling's so strong, something kinda sets it apart. It makes me high, it takes me up to the sky. It's called country and it's stolen my heart. Back in the country, I'm going back in the country. I like that laid back sound with my feet on the ground. This good old country music's for me. Well, I've sung rock and roll, I've even sung soul, but country's the music for me. I've done the twist, but I can never resist the music that they call country. I'm a hard-living man, and I'll do all I can to keep this music rolling along. So keep your jazz and all that razzmatazz, 'cause country music's where I belong. I'm going back in the country, I said it, back in the country. I like that laid-back sound with my feet on the ground. This good old country music's for me. I'm going back in the country, yeah, back in the country. I like that laid-back sound with my feet on the ground. This good old country music's for me. I'm going back in the country, I said it, back in the country. I like that laid-back sound with my feet on the ground. This good old country music's for me. I'm going back in the country, yeah, back in the country. I like that laid-back sound with my feet on the ground.
Okay, that was a lovely country song by Ricky here. And Ricky, how did you change your name? Because, of course, your name is David Spencer, isn't it? Yes. So why did you change it? And how did you change it to Ricky Valance?
Well, if you compare the name Ricky Valance and David Spencer, there's a vast difference.
There
and
is.
I think Ricky Valance tends to be more show business, country music and what have you, rather than David Spencer, which is a very square name.
Yes.
So at that particular time, I was looking for a surname to go with Ricky.
Right.
And I happened to be watching a horse racing program one afternoon in London, where we were living at the time. And the horse trainer of the winner, his name was Colonel Valance. And I suddenly thought, well, that's going to be perfect for me.
And it goes
so
with
that's
Ricky.
what I did. And then, of course, later on, I found out his name was Richard Valance. They called him Ricky.
Good grief.
So I didn't know that, never met him. But
Wow,
that's
that
how
is
that came
spooky,
about.
isn't it? Yeah.
You got it from, dare I say it, the horse's mouth.
The horse's mouth, yes. There you go, folks. Well, of course, you were... Your number one hit was Tell Laura I Love Her, and this was deemed to be like teen death songs, or the start of them. Were you the first one to bring out a hit single that was about sort of teen death then?
Oh, I couldn't say that for sure. I know there was Leader of the Pack was out at the time as well, and Twinkle.
Twinkle, that was after you, I
I
think.
think it was probably after, but
Yes.
I wasn't too sure about the times. But it may possibly be that it was the first one out.
Yes,
And then there was Earth Angel.
Earth Angel, of course, yes. And the other one was the Everly's brothers, Ebony Eyes.
Ebony Eyes.
That was another one. So I don't know if that was a bit earlier than you. or a
Difficult
bit
for me to
later.
remember that.
Yeah. I can't remember things either.
I noticed, yeah.
You are the first Welshman at number one. Were you living? I know you lived quite a number of places. Were you living in London at the time that it got to number one?
Yes.
Yes. And how did you feel about that when you were told?
Well, it was an experience that one never ever forgets. And I was in Scotland at the time, touring with a band, and we had the Parade of the Pops, which is the new number ones that came out every week.
Yes.
They would tell you exactly what was on, and they had a big fanfare, and then suddenly they came up and said, "Number one, we have a new number one. Just knocked Apache off the hit parade. It's Tell Laura I Love Her by Ricky Valance."
When you recorded that song, did you think you would ever get to number one with that?
Well, I don't think anybody, if they're truthful, would know what they recorded, even if it was the best song they'd ever heard, would know it would become number one. My answer to that is no, I didn't know it would become number one, but I did have a strong inclination that it was going to be in the charts.
Yes.
And to get to number one was the added bonus, of course.
Well, of course it is a bonus, yeah.
It's gone gold, silver and platinum.
Yeah, wonderful. And made you a worldwide star,
Uh-huh.
just off the back of one hit.
That's right.
And I know, even though you haven't had any other hits, that you've been touring constantly,
Yes.
and that is your passion.
I would like to correct you one point. We had 3 in the top 50.
Top 50,
Including, of course, the Eurovision Song Contest, British Heats in those days.
Yes.
Plus, I've had at least 3 number ones around the world with my follow-ups to Tell Laura,
Right.
because I was with Columbia for nearly 2 years. And a lot of them went to Scandinavia, Australia, and America. So I was getting, in some respect, more hits abroad than
Abroad
I was
than at home, yes.
Good for me to talk about that, because people, and I can understand it, they insist on playing, or they have done in the past, just the one song, Tell Laura. And it can be a bit monotonous for me, because I'm meticulous about my work, and I want people to listen to everything that I've recorded. And it's now come to the stage where they are playing stuff like Sealed with a Kiss, Shaking All Over and stuff that I call. Yes, I did that after the initial artists, but it was still my version, and we did it way back, 30 odd years ago.
Your version of the songs,
Yeah.
which are really good. And I believe you are a born-again Christian. Is that correct?
Yes, I am. But then again, what's the definition of a Christian?
I don't know. Well, you tell me. I don't know.
Well, I always say this to people, don't run away with the idea I'm a Mr. Goody Two-Shoes.
No.
I'm an ordinary human being with human weaknesses.
Yes.
I try not to hurt people. I try not to cheat people. I don't drink. I don't smoke. Not because I'm a Christian, but because I feel that is the way to live.
Choose you don't want to, yes.
And if people assume then that I'm a good Christian, then I'm happy.
Yes.
Because I like making people happy through my music. It's vitally important that when I do a show, it's not just for my own self-satisfaction. It's for the audience that have come to listen to me. They have big problems at home, and they want to be able to leave those problems alone for maybe an hour or so, and it's going to be my privilege, my pleasure, to be on the stage presenting to them music which is going to take them out of themselves, if only for that short time.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. If you're kind to people, I think that's one of the biggest things you can be, as do a Christian thing, to help other people and be kind to them.
That's true.
Yes.
That's absolutely. There's not much more.
Well,
I mean,
no.
God is fully aware of our weaknesses, and to try and curb yourself down to a point of, I mustn't say this, I mustn't say that. You're going to drive yourself nuts.
Yes, of course.
Just do the things that you feel you should. If you can help people, you help people.
Yes.
If you can't, in a certain instances, you explain to them properly. You don't shoo them away and say, go away, I can't help you. Doing things in the proper way and being human, and not letting the success that you've achieved go to the head and walk around with your nose in the air. Having said that, there are people out there that take advantage of that.
Yeah, of course.
And then that does get my back up.
Yes. Well, you seem to be a very grounded person.
Very.
Yes, very grounded and very nice person as well. You are appearing tonight locally in Abbotsbury.
Looking forward to it.
Yes. Would you like to tell our listeners where?
Well, it's going to be at a chapel, an Ebenezer chapel in Abbotsbury, and that is a new ground for me.
Oh, you've never done it before in a chapel?
I've done it. I did take a little tour many years ago in a church,
right,
when I'd had an illness, mental illness at the time, and I'd recovered after 2 years. And I went out and I actually did, with a band, we did a tour of little churches, giving my testimony, which was really, really enjoyable. But coming to Wales and doing something like that is really breaking after all these years as well.
It's groundbreaking then, because you've never done it before.
Absolutely.
Yes. Have you seen the little chapel in Abbotsbury? We're going to perform tonight.
No,
Have you been there?
going down to see that.
Right, you're going down after here, going from here, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's going to be nice. I love little chapels. I used to go to a chapel when I was younger in Ebervale, a little one, live in a chapel, beautiful inside, and they usually are, aren't they?
They are.
I'm going to play one song off this CD that I've got of yours here, and I particularly like this song, and I can't tell you why. It's Don't Play Number 9.
Oh, that was in the charts. That was in the top 50, yeah.
Right, I don't know why I like this one. It's really nice.
Well, you know, a lot of people also have picked that one out, and I enjoyed singing it very much. It was very poppy at the time. Of course, I was doing a lot of ballads, so it was a slight deviation for me, but I enjoyed every minute of it. It's one of the best tracks on there, yeah.
Oh, right. Well, I'm going to play this one now, and then we've got a couple more minutes, and then we're going to have to come back and say goodbye.
Don't play number 9 on the jukebox. If you do, my heart will break in two. 'Cause once upon a time, that song was hers and mine. Oh, don't play number 9, I beg of you. Whoa, 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 please don't put that dime in the jukebox. 'Cause I know my tears are gonna show. Before our love went wrong, she always sang that song. Oh, don't play number 9, I miss her so. I wonder, does she ever think of me when she hears that melody? Or does she sing it now to some new guy? Oh no, if it's so, I know I'll just die. If you're gonna play a song on the jukebox, when you do, make sure it's something new. And until that day, they take that song away. Oh, don't play number 9, I beg of you. Oh, don't play number 9, I beg of you. Oh, don't play number 9.
Well, that was my favourite one off that CD. And Ricky is going to tell you a little bit how he come back to Wales to perform tonight in the chapel down Abbotsbury. Yes,
You're prompting me now, are you?
I am.
Good. Well, originally I was asked by who's now become my very good friend, Glyn, if I was in the area to go down and maybe just appear in the church and give them a little talk and what have you. So I thought it might be an idea to go one step further and possibly do my music and my life and make it a combination of both the chat and the music,
yes,
which he felt was ideal. So he started the ball rolling, and Steve, I understand, is now, which I did know before, plays a big part in it as well.
it does, yeah.
So between them, they've set the whole thing up, and I'm totally overwhelmed, especially with the publicity. One of the big things that people don't do in this business, a lot of them don't use enough publicity. In the normal run of things, publicity can be extremely expensive. So councils especially never do much. That's why you never see an awful lot about it. So basically, they've done a fantastic job, absolutely bowled me over.
Good.
And I just want to show my appreciation by going out there and doing a good show tonight.
I'm sure the show will be absolutely phenomenal. And people would be so interested to hear about your life, what you've done, and where you've come from. Tell All I Love Her up until the present day.
Wonderful. Thank you very much indeed, Sylvie.
Thank you very much for being here. It's been a pleasure.
And my pleasure too.